Okay. Already I have discussed with you demand and concepts related to the demand. And when we are going through the market conditions to having the better analysis of markets, before go to the market analysis, before go to the calculations of market equilibriums, we need to know about supply. Okay, supply, simply we can say quantity of commodity that suppliers are willing to offer for sale at different market prices. We know that in case of demand, already we know there is according to the law of demand, there is an inverse relationship between price and commodity. That means when prices are increasing, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, quantity demanded QD also will be decreases. That means at lower levels of prices, consumers are wish to purchase more. At high level of prices, consumers are not wish to purchase more. Then it will be like this. Then when it becomes supply, you can see here other side of demand, other we can define supply as quantity of commodity that suppliers are willing to offer, so in case of supply, simply you can identify the rationale. If you are a supplier, if you are the seller, if you can earn much more income, you wish to supply more products. That is the basic rationale. Even without studying that rationale, you can identify. ඒක තමයි තාර්කය. අපි දන්නවා අපි ඔයාලා හිතන්න ඔයාලා විකුණන එක්කෙනෙක්. ඔයාලා වෙලෙන්දෙක් නම් වැඩි මිලක් යටතේ ඔයාලා වැඩි භාණ්ඩ ප්‍රමාණයක් සම්පාදනය කරන්න අපේක්ෂා කරනවා. අඩු මිල ගණන් යටතේ අඩුවෙන් තමා සම්පාදනය කරන්න අපේක්ෂා කරන්න. ඕක තමයි වෙන්නේ when governments decrease the prices, through the price levels, price precedings, what will happen? The market, the goods will not be available in the market. වෙළඳපොළ තුල භාණ්ඩ නැති වෙනවා. භාණ්ඩ හිඟයක් ඇති වෙනවා. The thing is this supply, law of supply. ඒකට හේතුව තමයි සැපයුම් නීතිය. In that situation, government has to adopt different tools to having this flow of supply. Okay, simply even before go to the law of supply part, we can here summarize law of supply in the sense the positive relationship between the price of a commodity and the quantity of supplies. Okay, law of demand in the sense inverse relationship, that relationship is negative. Law of demand, the demand curve like this, it's a negative relationship, inverse relationship. Law of supply, as I explained to you, there is a positive relationship between price and commodity supplies. Here, if prices increase, what will happen? The quantities which are expected to supply by the suppliers also will be increased. Like this. Then simply there is positive relationships between price and quantity QS. Then supply curve will be like this. Okay, then hope you have remind about the determinants of demand. What are the determinants of demand? Can you list it out? Please send me through the chat box. If you remind, මොනවද ඉල්ලුම් තීරක කියලා අපි කතා කරේ? ඉල්ලුම් තීරක, ඉල්ලුම තීරණය කරන සාධක අපි කතා කරා. අද කතා කරන්න කලින් සැපයුම් තීරක මතක් කරන්න. What were the determinants which we discussed? Determinants related to the demand. Anyone? What were the determinants related to demand? Okay, here we can see determinants of supply. Simply we can discuss these things as now you are aware about these concepts. First one is price of consider that particular product. As I explained earlier, if price of certain product, if price of our considering product increases, as sellers, if we are the sellers, we wish to supply more, then simply we can say there is a positive relationship between price and the quantity supplies. Okay. Then second one, price of other commodities. Here other commodities in the sense other goods which are produced by using same inputs. Okay, if our considering product is bread, price of other commodities in the sense other commodities in the sense we can say as examples buns. අපි bakery එක නම් කතා කරන භාණ්ඩය අපි සලකා බලන භාණ්ඩය පාන් නම් අනෙකුත් භාණ්ඩ කියලා අපිට කතා කරන්න වෙන්නේ බනිස් සම්බන්ධ. ඒ කියන්නේ සරලව සමාන යෙදවුම් භාවිතා කරලා නිෂ්පාදනය කරන නිෂ්පාදිතය. That is the second one. Okay, someone can say that as a substitutes too. Up to an extent we can also say. Okay, so what will happen? Price of other commodities increase. Earlier we discussed when it's become the price of, when price of tea increases, consumers will move to coffee. කිරිතේ එකක මිල ඉහළ යනකොට පාරිභෝගිකයෝ කිරිතේ බොන එක අඩු කරලා කෝපි බොන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. Here what I am asking, if prices of buns increase, what will happen to the supply of bread? පාන් මිල ඉහළ යන්නේ බනිස් මිල ඉහළ යනවා. දැන් ඔයා බේකරි කාර්යය, sorry, බේකරි අයිතිකාරය. දැන් ඔයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ඔයා සැපයුම්, suppliers view. At that scenario, normally what we feel to do is, as a person who has oriented to earn much more profits, much more gain, much more revenue, then what will do by us? Definitely we will reduce the production of bread and we will increase the production of buns. Then as examples I will say here price of buns and supply of bread. If price of bun increase, definitely suppliers will move to producing buns as they can earn more revenue. Then they may allocate less inputs for producing buns. බනිස් හදන්න අඩුවෙන් තමයි එතකොට යමු වෙන්නේ මොකද නෑ පාන් හදන්න අඩුවෙන් යමු වෙන්නේ මොකද බනිස් හැදුවොත් එහෙම වැඩිපුර ආදායමක් උත්පාදනය කරගන්න පුළුවන් නිසා. If price of buns decrease, what will happen? They may not wish to produce much more buns. They may try to produce breads as much as they can. එයාට පුළුවන් තරම් එයාලා මොකද කරන්නේ බනිස් වලින් අයින් වෙලා පාන් හදන්න පෙළවෙනවා because they can earn much more revenue. That is the law of supply. That is not the law of supply. That is the basic rationale. Okay, rational seller's view. Rational seller's view. Then price of the factors of production. What were the factors of production? What are the factors of production? Please message me. In the very first session of microeconomics, I explained to you the factors of production. What are the factors of production? Land, labor, yes, capital, entrepreneurship. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Okay, then here what is the rationale? If the prices of inputs increase, බනිස් ගෙඩියක් මාකට් එකේ 65කට විකුණන්න ඕන. Now what was happened actually in Sri Lankan context? This is one of the main reason. When prices of inputs increase, suppliers profit margin will be decreased. At that time, suppliers will be demotivated to produce and supply that product. යෙදවුම් මිල ගණන් වැඩි වෙනවා කියන්නේ give me one minute. Okay, here if prices of inputs increase, what will happen? Definitely, profit margin belongs to the seller will be decreased. Then sellers are demotivated to supply that particular product. යෙදවුම් මිල ගණන් වැඩි වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ අදාළ නිෂ්පාදිතයෙන් අපේක්ෂිත ලාභය සප්ලයර්ට තියෙන ලාභය අඩු වෙනවා. අන්න එතකොට ඒ භාණ්ඩය සැපයුම් කරන්න සප්ලයර් පෙළඹෙන්නේ නැහැ. Okay, that is what actually happened. What is happening if price of inputs increase, profit margin will be decreased, then supply quantity also will be decreased. If price of inputs decreased, profit margin will be increased, then supply quantities also will be increased. Next one, state of technology. It's very simple. Let's say if we are having automated machineries, we can produce much more products. If we are adopting the manual mechanisms, we cannot produce such products, such quantity of products. So simply, if we are having more advanced, let's say advancement of technology, when we are using more advanced technology, quantity supplies also will be increased. If we decrease the advancements of technology, that means if we moved machineries, if we move from machineries to manual mechanisms, then our quantity will supply will be decreased as we are unable to produce much more products. Okay, that is another factor. Then producers' expectations. You know that if suppliers of motor vehicles are expecting higher prices in near future, today's supply will be decreased. They may keep that stocks within their stores. සරලවම අනාගතයේ භාණ්ඩ මිල ඉහළ යාමක් අපේක්ෂා කරනවා නම් මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? අද බඩු තොග නැති වෙන. සිගරට් එකක බඩු ගහුවෙන් පස්සේ ඕක සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ කඩවල් වල සිගරට් නැති වෙන. නමුත් ඒ රෑ 12න් පස්සේ නැති සිගරට් ටික මතුවෙන. කිරිපිටි වල ඕක සිද්ධ වෙන. හාල් වල ඕක සිද්ධ වෙන. If they expected a rise in prices, they may not release the outputs today. They may kept that stocks until that particular date. These things are happening in the markets which are not having. Here we are discussing the scenarios related to markets which are not having any government interventions. Government in the such scenarios, government can intervene. I will come to those points in future. Okay, now what is our conclusion? If suppliers expect a rise in the prices, quantity of supplies today will be decreased. In addition to that, this may impacted, that means this process impacted through the government policies. You know that through the gazettes, so many things can be happen. Through gazettes, what they are doing, what government is doing, they are incurring taxes, they are giving subsidies, maximum price sets are setting, minimum prices are setting. So based on the government policies, suppliers' perceptions can also be changed. If you go through the past 2-3 weeks, you can have your own experience related to this. රජය මොකද්ද කරන්නේ, කොහොමද රජය ප්‍රතිපත්තීන් මැනේජ් කරන්නේ? බදු ගහන්න පුළුවන්, සහනාධාර දෙන්න පුළුවන්, උපරිම මිල සීමා දෙන්න පුළුවන්, අවම මිල සීමා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. They can restrict the import, restrict the export. Okay, restrictions. Throughout last 2-3 weeks, all these things happen. If they need to demotivate the suppliers, if we need, in the sense, if government need to demotivate the suppliers, then what they are doing, they may incur taxes on those products. උපරිම මිල සීමා, අවම මිල සීමා. මොකද වෙන්නේ? මාකට් එකේ හුවමාරු වෙන්න මිලක් තීරණය කරනවා. තීරණය කරලා දාන්න. Let's discuss those things in future. In addition to these factors, some other factors also there: weather and climate, future market prices, and other factors. Simply based on the factors which we discussed up to now, as we did in the demand function, for supply function also we can develop a function like this. This reflects the relationship between supply and factors affecting to the supply as a functional notation. Here P in the sense price, P in N in the sense price of other products. You can see, no need to discuss, already I discussed. So QS function, quantity of supply, is a function of P, Pn, C, T, E, G, and O. It's simple. So law of supply, already I explained to you. Law of demand in the sense, it reflects, it indicates the relationship between price and quantity demand. So simply, when it's become law of supply, it simply indicates the relationship between price and quantity of supplies. As we assumed in the law of demand, here also we need to assume all other things remaining same. So simply here, law of supply indicates the positive relationship between prices and quantities. When all other things remaining same, the commodity that firms will produce and offer for sales rises with rise in and falls in market prices. So simply, law of supply indicates the positive relationship between price of a commodity and quantity supplies. Here very important point is we are assuming that all other factors remaining same. Hope you have identified. And in case of demand equation, we got a demand curve like QD equals to A minus BP, as there is an inverse relationship between price and commodity demand. මිලා ඉල්ලුම් ප්‍රමාණය අතර ඍණ සම්බන්ධතාවයක් තිබ්බේ එහෙනම් ඉල්ලුම් සමීකරණේ බෑවුම ඍණ එකක් එන්නේ. ඒ නිසා තමයි මෙතන ඍණ ආවේ. But when it becomes supply equation, as we are having positive relationship between P and QS, here we are getting positive one. The slope of the curve will be positive. That's why it will looks like this. Here A in the sense, already you are aware. ඔයාලා දන්නවා. අපි දන්නවා දැන් equation එකකින් කොහොමද equation එක ගොඩනගාගන්නේ කියලා. ඉල්ලුම් වක්‍රයේ A කියලා ගත්තේ මොකද්ද? Simply here QS in the sense supply quantity, A in the sense QS when P equals to 0. මතක් වෙන්න ඕනේ දැන් හොඳේ ඩිමාන්ඩ් එක කතා කරනකොට මම ඔයා පැහැදිලි කරා. දැන් මේක සප්ලයි එකේදී පැහැදිලි කරොත් එහෙම අපිට සති 15ක් පුරාවට ඩිමාන්ඩ් ඇන්ඩ් සප්ලයි විතරයි කතා කරන්න වෙන්නේ. Simply if we draft in this particular case, this is the one. That means when P0, QS also equals 0. If a curve like this is the A. Okay. If the curve like this is the A minus value. So keep in mind. Did you remind the way of getting the equation? Do you remind? Okay. You have been given, let's do a practice question. You have been given this information, prices and QS. Prices 10, 20, 30, 40. QS 120, 180 and 60. Okay. Now you are required to develop equation, develop the supply equation, or otherwise equation for the supply curve. Do this. Try to do this. Shall we do this? Not shall we. Did you do this? Here, simple way of this equation is, let's use a different color. Simple way of using a way of this equation is, as we discussed here, QS equal to A plus BP. QS equal to A plus BP. Okay, here B can be calculated. How to calculate B? Tell me how to calculate B. Simply delta QS over delta P. Here delta QS, we can take one particular point. Delta QS in the sense 20. Delta P in the sense 10. Then B equals to 2. Then what we need to do, we can identify a certain point. Here, let's take 10 and 60. Then QS becomes 60. We don't know still A plus B. We noted that 2 P 10. Now we can get the value for A. 60 equals to A plus 20. Then A equals to 60 minus 20. A equals to 40. Then our supply equation can be get QS equals to 40 plus B 2P. Keep in mind normally අපි සාමාන්‍ය ඉක්වේෂන් බොහෝ ඒ වගේ මේ A ඍණ තමයි එන්නේ. හරි. මේ 40 කියලා කියන්නේ මිල බිඳුවයි වුණත් 40කට සම්බන්ධනය කරන්නේ නැහැනේ. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මතක තියාගන්න අපිට A වැලියු එක එන්නේ ඍණ ප්‍රායෝගික තත්ත්වවල. Okay. Now these things I think you can refer easily as we have discussed these concepts related to the demand, movement and shift of the supply curve. You may remind that movement of the demand curve can be happen because of the price of particular product. As like that, movement of supply curve also happen because of the changes in supply prices. This occurs as a result of a change in the prices of particular commodity from one point to another on same supply curve. So reason for this is price of the particular commodity. Okay, so if prices of a commodity increase, the point will move forward. If price increase, point will move up. If price decrease, a point will move down in the same supply curve. සලකා බලන භාණ්ඩයේ මිල කියන සාධකය තමයි මේකට බලපාන්නේ. සලකා බලන භාණ්ඩයේ මිල ඉහළ යනවා නම් එකම සැපයුම් වක්‍රයේ සැපයුම් වක්‍රයේ point එකක් ඉස්සරහට යනවා මේ විදියට. Same supply curve. Just have the movement of a point within the same supply curve. This is the supply curve as we did in the demand. When it's become shift of the supply curve, as we discussed in the shift of the demand curve, here the main reason is changes of factors affecting to the supply. Other except commodities own price. As we did, what we did in the demand, factors affecting the demand other than commodities own price is the reason for shift of the demand curve. Here, reason for the shift of the supply curve is changes in factors affecting to the supply other than commodities own price. So, if supply decrease, the supply curve will move left. If supply increase, supply curve will move right. ඒ කියන්නේ සැපයුම් ප්‍රමාණය වෙනස් වීමට බලපාන්නේ සැපයුමේ වෙනස් වීමට තමයි සැපයුම් වක්‍රයේ මූවමන්ට් එකකින් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් මිල හැරෙනකොට අනෙකුත් සාධක කීපයක හෝ සාධකයක වෙනස් වීම නිසා තමයි මේ සප්ලයි කර්ව් එක වමට හෝ දකුණට විතන් වෙන්නේ. මිලේ වෙනසක් නම් අනෙකුත් සාධක ස්ථාවරව තිබියදී මිලේ වෙනසක් නම් සැපයුම් වක්‍රයේ වෙනසක් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. පවත්නා සැපයුම් වක්‍රයේ point එක ඉහළ පහළ යාමක් තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. I think you got the point. මේවා ඔක්කොම අර demand එකේ කතා කරපු වගේ අනිත් පැත්ත. Reasons for upward sloping of supply curve. That means why our supply curve like this. Why our supply curve is like this. Suppliers' willingness to sell at high prices to get high profits. That's intention. Okay. Then increase the cost of production. Okay. Wait, give me 1 minute. Here, reasons for upward sloping of supply curves. Suppliers' willingness to sell at high prices to get high profit. Already I explained. Suppliers wish to earn much more revenue. If they can sold out for products for high prices, they can earn more. Then with that intention, they attempt to supply more at high prices. Then increase in cost of production. When producer products more goods, the opportunity cost also will be increased. Therefore, they must receive a high price in order to increase their production. Okay. So to gain high profit, they need to have high prices. Okay. Then when producers produce more goods, that means they are allocating more inputs. You know that those inputs are having alternative uses. So producing X in the sense they are incurred in some opportunity cost, because as the inputs are having alternative uses, when they are using the such inputs, they need to sacrifice those alternative uses. අපි දන්නවා inputs වලට යෙදවුම් වලට විකල්ප ප්‍රයෝජන තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඔය විකල්ප ප්‍රයෝජන කැප කරලා තමයි මේ අපේ සලකා බලන භාණ්ඩය නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න යෙදවුම් යොදවන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ මොනවද? අපි මේ යෙදවුම් මේ නිෂ්පාදනයට භාවිතා කිරීම නිසා ආවස්තික පිරිවැයක් තියෙනවා. හරි? එතකොට ඒ ආවස්තික පිරිවැය ආවරණය කරගන්න අපිට ඉහළ මිලක් ලැබිය යුතුයි සප්ලයි. ඒ නිසා තමයි සප්ලයි ඉහළ මිල ගණන් යටතේ වැඩිපුර භාණ්ඩ සම්පාදනය කරන්න පෙළඹෙන්නේ. Now, elasticity of supply. Okay, elasticity of supply. Before that, up to now, if you have any doubts, you can ask. elasticity of supply. When calculating the elasticity of supply, we consider only about the price elasticity of supply. When calculating the elasticity of supply, we consider only about price elasticity of supply. In demand, we discuss income elasticity, cross elasticity, but here we discuss about price elasticity. Okay, when it becomes to elasticity of supply. Then it measures suppliers' response to change in price commodity. It measures suppliers' response. ඒ කියන්නේ මිලෙහි සිදුවන වෙනස්කම් වලට සැපයුම් කරුවා දක්වන සංවේදීතාවය තමයි measure කරන්නේ. Simply price elasticity of not demand, price elasticity of supply, PES. Price elasticity of supply can measure using percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price, or otherwise we can use what we used in how did we calculate the this one. We used price this equation to calculate the price elasticity in a point. Same can be used to calculate the supply elasticity too. Okay, this one. Okay, here also we can have these types of elasticity of supply. You know that these things we discussed in case of demand also. If our elasticity value is, let's say, PES is less than 0, okay, that means our supply elasticity is inelastic. If our price elasticity of supply is greater than 0, we can say elastic supply. If our price elasticity of supply equals to 1, we can say unitary elastic supply. If our price elasticity of supply equal to 0, perfectly inelastic supply. If price elasticity of supply figure equals to infinity, it's known as perfectly elastic supply. No need to waste much more time. Let's move. Here you can see inelastic supply. Percentage change in price is greater than the percentage change in quantity supplied. Okay, in this situation, our price elasticity figure is less than 1. Here, let's see first record. Here price, here quantity, 10, 20, 100, 125, 10 to 100, 20 to 125, then curve will be like this. This like curve. Okay, Let's calculate the price elasticity in this point. Price elasticity of supply equals to delta Q over delta P into P divided by Q. Here delta P 25, delta P 10 into price 10, quantity 100. Here 1 1 1 4 0.25. You can see price elasticity is less than 1. This is known as inelastic supply. That means simply change in price is greater than change in quantity. ඒ කියන්නේ සංවේදීතාවය අඩුයි. මිලෙහි සිදුවන ප්‍රතිශතාත්මක වෙනසට වඩා සැපයුම් ප්‍රමාණයේ තියෙන ප්‍රතිශතාත්මක වෙනස අඩුයි. දැන් මෙතන බලන්න මෙතන 100%කින් වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙනවා. There is 100% change, but here only 25% change. Now elastic supply in the sense percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price. Then at that time price elasticity of supply figure is greater than 1. First let's look on the curve shape. The slope එක වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ. Let's see here. Five, 10, 15, 100, 15, 200, and see the slope. It looks like this. Then let's check the figure. Price elasticity of supply equals to delta Q over delta P into P divided by Q. Delta Q in the sense here you can see 150. Delta P is 5 into 10 divided by 100. We are considering this point. Then here 1, 2, 50s, 3 50s. Here this one to this one means value is 3. It is greater than 3. That is elastic supply. Okay. In case of unitary elastic demand, you may remind that the curve shape is rectangular hyperbola. ත්‍රිකෝණාශ්‍රාකාර බහුවලයක හැඩයක් ගත්තේ. But you can see here it will not look like that. Let's see in case of unitary elastic supply, percentage change in supply equals to percentage change in quantity supplied. So let's draw first 10, 20, 30, here 100, 200, 300. These are the points. It me looks like මේක මේ බිඳුව හරහා යන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට අංශක 45 දෙකට තමයි. It may looks like Okay, let's calculate the value. In here, let's use this equation. Price elasticity of supply equals to percentage change in, or otherwise let's work on here, delta Q over delta P into P over Q. Here delta Q 10, here delta QS 100, delta P 10, price in the sense 10, quantity in the sense 100. We are taking this point. Then you can see value equals to 1. Okay, that is unitary elastic supply. ඒකීය නම් මේ සපය අපි මේවා ඩිමාන්ඩ් එක කතා කරලා නිසා මම ඉක්මනට කතා කරන් යන්නේ. නැත්නම් මේකට වෙනම අපි දවසක් ගත්ත ඩිමාන්ඩ් එකේ. හරි. කොට ආයෙ කතා කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. නම්‍යතාවය කියන සංකල්පය ඔයාලා දැන් දන්නවා. නමුත් මෙතන වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. ඒකීය නම් මේ ඉල්ලුමේදී වලට මතක ඇති ඍජුකෝණාශ්‍රාකාර බහුවලයක හැඩයක් ගත්තා. නමුත් මෙතන එහෙම නෙමෙයි, මේක දෙකට බෙදෙන අංශක 45 කෝණ මෙතන තියෙන බැලුවොත්. අර මේ හරි මැදින් යන එක තමයි. Then perfectly inelastic supply. Change in price has no effect on quantity supplied. Then price elasticity of supply may be 0. Let's first calculate this example's price elasticity of supply equals to delta Q over delta P into P divided by Q. Then delta P, delta Q 0, delta P 10 into price 10, quantity 100. You can see 0 divided by 100, that means 0. Value is 0. Let's check the shape of the curve. Here P, here QS, 0, 10, 20, here 100, 200. When price becomes 10, QS 100. When price becomes 20, P අක්ෂයට සමාන්තර කර්ව් එකක් තමයි එතකොට එන්නේ. එතකොට පූර්ණ අනම්‍ය වෙනකොට නම්‍යතා සංගුණකය බිඳුවක් ගන්නවා. Then next one, perfectly elastic supply. Perfectly elastic supply, P and Q we can have price 10, 20, QS 100, 200, 300, prices 10, where here 100. That means without having any changes in price, quantity has been changed. Then price elasticity of supply value not equals to 0. That should be infinite. Okay, price elasticity of supply equals to delta QD, or sorry, QS over delta P into P divided by QS. Now price quantity delta QS, you can see 100, change in quantity, change in prices, no any changes, 0. Here price 10, quantity 100. Okay, now you can see we need to divide this by 100. Any value divided by 100 equals to infinite. Now you can see at that time perfectly elastic supply is there. It means we, even without having any changes in the supply, the quantities are changing. Then supply curve will looks like this. Quantity column එකට සමාන්තරව ගමන් කරන්නේ. Okay, we discussed at the end of the elasticity of demand session, we discussed determinants of elasticity of demand as like that. Here I have put determinants of elasticity of supply. Main thing is time taken to change the supply. Okay, if we can change the supply quickly, if suppliers can change the supply quickly, සිගරට් මිල වැඩි වෙනවා කියලා ආරංචි වෙනකොටම ඒක හංගලා අපිට සප්ලයි එක අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් at that time elasticity is high. Okay, here if we can if suppliers can quickly change, then elasticity, price elasticity of supply is high. That means elastic. If they cannot quickly adapt, that means if they are taking much more time, that means they cannot respond to the price changes quickly. That means their price elasticity is inelastic. මිල වෙනස් වීමට ප්‍රතිචාර දක්වන්න වෙලා යනවනම් දැන් හදලා තියෙන කෑම ටික දීලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ. එහෙම අවස්ථාවල අනම්‍ය සැපයුමක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Ability to maintain stocks. ශීතාගාර තියෙනවා නම් කුකුල් මස් ටික මිල වැඩි වෙනකන් ශීතාගාර තුල තියාගෙන ඉන්න පුළුවන්. ශීතාගාර නැහැ. තියාගෙන ඉන්න බෑ. තොක තියාගන්න පුළුවන් සීමිත ප්‍රමාණයක් විතරයි. එහෙනම් supply කරන්නම වෙනවා. Okay, if they can maintain high level of stocks, they can do these deals. At that time, if their capacity of stocks are high, at that time their supply is having elastic supply. But if they cannot having those stock level is less, then they are having inelastic. Nature of the commodity. නරක් වෙන දෙයක් නම් තියාගෙන ඉන්න බෑනේ, කබඩා කරලා තියාගන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. At that time they have to supply that. Then supply becomes inelastic. යාට තියාගෙන ඉන්න බෑ, ඩීල් කරන්න බෑ. අද දෙන්න තියෙන දේ දෙන්න වෙනවා. නැත්තම් තියෙන ලාභයක් නැති වෙලා යනවා. Okay, mobility of factors of production. බේකරියේ පාන් වලටයි බනිස් වලටයි එකම inputs නම් පාවිච්චි එකම inputs පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා if suddenly prices of buns increase, suddenly inputs can change, transferred from breads to buns. At that time their elasticity, supply elasticity is high. Is mobility of factors is high. They are having high level let's say level of mobility. ඒ කියන්නේ මාරු කිරීමේ හැකියාව වැඩි නම් price elasticity of supply also high. If level of mobility or mobility is less, price elasticity also less. පානොයි වලනුයි ගත්තොත් එහෙනම් පාන් හදන ඒවකින් වලන් හදන්න බෑනේ. The mobility is at that time price elasticity of supply. Yes. Skill level of worker needed to make the product. If they need high level of skills, then it's difficult to deal with those workers. දැන් උපාධිධාරී trained workers ලා ඕනනම් මොනවා හරි product එකක් හදන්න ඒ workers ලාත් එක්ක deal කරන්න තියෙන හැකියාව අඩුයි. Then elasticity becomes less. But if they only need some humans, මිනිස්සු විතරයි ඕන කීපද, at that time they can deal. That means elasticity level high. Okay, like that. Those are the determinants of elasticity of supply. Okay. If you have any doubts, now you can ask up to now. I will come to the equilibrium part. වෙළඳපළ සමතුලිතතාවය. Now we know the concepts related to the demand. Now you know what is demand, what is law of demand, what is law of supply. Law of demand in the sense, law of demand in the sense, positive relationship negative relationship between price and quantity. This is law of demand. Law of supply in the sense, positive relationship between supply quantity and price. That means you can see the perceptions of suppliers and consumers are going two ways. So to have in the market, they should have an agreement. That agreed point we identified as equilibrium. Here you can see one point is there. The expected quantities and expected demands becomes equal. That means the point demand curve and supply curve intersect each other. That point we known as equilibrium. අන්න ඒ අවස්ථාවේ අපි දන්නවා සැපයුම් කරුවන්ගේ අපේක්ෂාවන් සහ ගැනුම් කරුවන්ගේ අපේක්ෂාවන් දෙපැත්තකට යන්නේ. ඒක තමයි law of demand වලදී මිලත් ඉල්ලුම් ප්‍රමාණයත් අතර ඍණ සම්බන්ධයකුත්, law of supply වලදී මිලත් සැපයුම් ප්‍රමාණයත් අතර ධන සම්බන්ධයකුයි තියෙන්නේ. වෙළඳපළක් හට ගන්න නම් ওই දෙකම එක තැනකට එන්න ඕනේ, ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් එකකට එන්න ඕනේ. ඒ ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් එක ඇති වෙන තැන තමයි වෙළඳපළ සමතුලිතය කියලා කියන්නේ. එහෙනම් විල්ලුම් වක්‍රය සහ සැපයුම් වක්‍රය එකිනෙකට ඡේදනය වන තැන අපි හඳුනා ගන්නවා වෙළඳපළ සමතුලිතය කියලා. Equilibrium refers to the point at which supply equals the demand of particular product. In market equilibrium point, we can identify followings. Here, quantity demanded and quantity supplies are equal. මෙතන බලන්න, quantity demanded, quantity supplied equal. Absence of excess demand and excess supply. I will come to point excess demand and excess supply later. මම මේක පස්සේ පැහැදිලි කරන්න. Absence of this one on this one. Okay. මේ දෙක මම පස්සේ පැහැදිලි කරන්න. ඒ concept දෙක පස්සේ තියෙනවා. Demand and supply curves intersect each other. Demand and supply curve එකිනෙකට ඡේදනය වෙන, intersect each other. මේ අවස්ථාවේ තමයි එහෙනම් අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේ තියෙන මිල අඳුනා ගන්නවා. Price of this point we known as equilibrium price. Price of this quantity of this point we known as equilibrium quantity. මම මේ ක්‍රම තුන කතා කරලා අදට නවත්තන්න. එතකොට ඒ ක්‍රම තුන බේස් කරන් ඔයාලට ටියුටෝරියල් 2 එක කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේකෙන් පස්සේ. Okay. First, equilibrium නම් ඔයාලා දන්නවා වෙළඳපොළ සමතුලිතය කියන්නේ ගැනුම්කරුවන්ගේ අදහස් සහ ගැනුම්කරුවන්ගේ අපේක්ෂාවන් සහ සැපයුම්කරුවන්ගේ අපේක්ෂාවන් සමාන වන තත්ත්වය. The equilibrium can be found by three models. One is table mode and second one is graph, third one is equations. Let's see. First one, using a table. Here you can see you have been given the prices, you have been given certain demands, quantity of demanders according to the law of demand. You can see when prices are increases, demand quantities are decreasing. When prices are increases, quantity supplies are increasing according to the law of supply. Then how can we identify the market equilibrium? Here you can see when price becomes 30. When price becomes 30. Our quantity demand and quantity supplies become equal. So this point we can identify it as market equilibrium. ඕක හැමතිස්සෙම එන්නේ නැහැ මොකද අපි ගන්න දත්තවල ඕක තිබ්බොත් හොඳ නැත්නම් නැත්නම් ඔය quantity demand quantity supply සමාන වන දන වෙළඳපොළ සමතුලිතය කියලා අපිට හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඕක තමයි ටේබල් එකෙන් කරන ක්‍රමකම සරල ක්‍රමය. Okay. එතකොට ඒකනේ සමතුලිතයේදී ගැනුම්කරුවන්ගේ සැපයුම්කරුවන්ගේ අපේක්ෂාවන් සමාන වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ quantity column එකයි quantity column එකේ value එකයි supply value එකයි සමාන වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක වෙළඳපොළ සමතුලිතය විදියට හඳුනා ගන්න. Second one is we can have a draft. අපිට draft එකකින් ඕක කරන්න පුළුවන්. කොහොමද? අපි supply curve එකයි demand curve එකයි draft කරගන්න ඕනේ. Okay, let's draft. මිල කොහොමද යන්නේ 10 20 30 40 50. Then quantities 20 ගාන ගියා නම් හරිනේ. 20 40 60 80 100 120 140. Here quantities. Here zero. Now let's record quantities. අපි point දෙකක් ලකුණු කරගත්තාම ඇතිනේ. 10 දී මිල 10ක් වෙද්දි when price becomes 10 quantity demanded 100. When price becomes 10 quantity demanded 100. When price becomes 60 quantity demanded 0. Supply එකෙත් mark කරා මම ඉරි දෙක අඳිනවා. When price becomes 10 quantity supply 20 60 120. 20යි 10යි 20යි. ඇටේදී 120. Now let's draw. Okay. This is our demand curve. This is our supply curve. Now you can see this is the supply curve, then this is the demand curve. That demand curve and supply curve intersect in this point. Then this is the market equilibrium. Equilibrium price rupees 60, no, rupees 30. Equilibrium quantity වෙළඳපොළ සමතුලිතය 60. 60. Here in table also we noted that when it becomes 60 and price becomes 30, market is in equilibrium. Okay. Okay. Now last option is equation. This is what is most rational way to adapt. Here simply demand function and supply function can be equalized. I will do this. If QD equals to 220 minus 2P and QS equal to 2P. QD 120 2 QS 2P. ඒ කියන්නේ A value එකක් නැහැ. බිංදුව හරහා යන A value එකක් නැහැ. 2QS කෙලින්ම 2P. Calculate the equilibrium. So what we need to do here, we need to equalize these two equations. Our condition is at the equilibrium, QD should be equals to QS. This is the condition. Then QD has been given 120 minus 2P, QS 2P. Not A value. A බිඳුව නිසා ඒක දාන්න ඕනේ. A value එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒට value එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා නම් minus හදනවා. ඒක දාන්න. equation එක මෙතෙන්ට ගන්න. Now we can get the value for P. දැන් මෙතන අපිට P value එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. How to get 120 equals 2P මේ minus P එක මෙහෙට ගන්නවා plus 2P. Then 120 equals to 4P. Then 120 divided by 4 equals to P. Here P equals to 30. If we know the value for P, then we can get the value for D. What we need to do, just adapt P for one of these equations. 120 minus 2P, we know equilibrium price now 30. අපි දන්නවා සමතුලිතයේදී QS QD ට සමාන. එහෙනම් මොන equation එකකට මේක ආදේශ කරත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. QD equals to 120 minus 2 into 30. Then QD equals to 120 minus 60. QD equals to 60. මේකටත් ආදේශ කරලා බලමු. QS equals to 2P. QS equals to 2 into 30. That means 60. I think you got the point. Then here equilibrium price rupees 30. Equilibrium quantity 60. අපි කලින් ගත්ත උත්තරම තමයි එන්නේ මේ ක්‍රම තුනටම අරන් තියෙන්නේ. Okay, so this is the basics. These are the basics. We need to discuss something more in future in future sessions. So today's session I will wind up from here. Thank you very much for the participation. Then if you have any doubts you can